हेलो एवरीवन। मैं आज आपको 2 लेसन प्लान दिखाऊंगी आउट ऑफ 10 लेसन प्लान। तो ये सब्जेक्ट जो है उसका मैथ्स है। द फर्स्ट पार्ट इज़ लेसन प्लान नंबर 1 एज यू कैन सी। तो इसका टॉपिक है बेसिक ज्योमेट्रिकल आइडियाज़। ड्यूरेशन है 40 मिनट्स। कंटेंट मैपिंग के अंदर में आ जाएगा बेसिक ज्योमेट्रिकल आइडियाज़ और अंडर इट बेसिक एग्जांपल्स ऑफ ज्योमेट्रिकल फिगर्स। फिर उसके बाद पॉइंट, लाइन सेगमेंट, लाइन एंड रे। तो अभी हम चलते हैं नेक्स्ट पार्ट में। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि नेक्स्ट पार्ट है ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द लेसन। अंडर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द लेसन है नंबर 1, pupils will acquire knowledge about basic geometrical ideas. Number 2, pupils will be able to understand about geometrical figures. Number 3, pupils will apply the knowledge and understanding of geometrical figures in their daily life activity. Approach है constructivist, model है 5 e-learning model, and method is inductive and deductive method, demonstrative method, lecture cum discussion method and project method. Learning resources है blackboard, chalk, duster, फ्लैश कार्ड्स। तो अभी हम नेक्स्ट पार्ट चलते हैं। नेक्स्ट पार्ट में आप देख सकते हैं कि अंदर टाइम 7 मिनट्स, स्टेप्स, एंगेज, टीचर्स एक्टिविटी है, प्यूपिल्स एक्टिविटी एंड TLM है। अंडर टीचर्स एक्टिविटी, teacher greets the class and engage the class by asking whether they have encountered any shapes in their day-to-day life activities. तो pupils activity के अंदर होगा yes, response होगा yes. Teacher then asks the class to give some examples of shapes from the classroom under teachers activity. Under pupils activity होगा pupils reply blackboard, duster, chalk, notebook and pencil. TLM होगा usual class 8. Then again under teachers activity, teacher asks the class the following questions. What do we call the shapes and sizes of the examples just given now? Under pupils activity, no response. फिर इसके बाद में teachers activity, well, class, the shapes and size of things are known as geometry and today we are going to learn about it. अभी नेक्स्ट पेज में जाते हैं। नेक्स्ट पेज में आप देख सकते हैं कि अंडर टाइम 10 मिनट्स है एंड अंडर स्टेप्स एक्सप्लोर। अंडर टीचर्स एक्टिविटी we have teacher then divide the class into 2 groups and assign them to draw the following figures. Activity 1, Group 1, to locate their school and police point junction by placing dots and joining the dots to find the distance. Group 2, to draw a ray of light. Teacher monitor and facilitate group activities. Under pupils activity, pupils actively participate in their respective group activities. Next step है explain, that is also 10 minutes. Under teachers activity, teacher asks each group to show what they have drawn and asks them whether the figures drawn by them forms any geometrical figures. Under pupils activity, pupils show their findings and replies yes, they form geometrical figures. अभी हम नेक्स्ट पेज जाते हैं। लेट्स ओपन द नेक्स्ट पेज। तो नेक्स्ट पेज में आप देखोगे अंडर टाइम, स्टेप्स, टीचर्स एक्टिविटी, प्यूपिल्स एक्टिविटी एंड TLM। तो अंडर टीचर्स एक्टिविटी सेम कंटिन्यूएशन है एक्सप्लेन का। Teacher carefully explains that a dot is a style of shape known as point. When the 2 points are joined, they form a line segment. Similarly, a ray of torchlight is a good example of ray where there is only one point. नेक्स्ट स्टेप है elaborate 8 minutes time. So under teachers activity, teacher explain and solves problem on blackboard with active participation of the pupils. Pupils activity है pupil note down. So under TLM जो है वो UCA होगा, usual class aid. Now let's go to the next page. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि होमवर्क असाइनमेंट के अंदर में टीचर गिव्स द फॉलोइंग सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस एज होम असाइनमेंट. क्वेश्चन इज ड्रॉ अ लाइन सेगमेंट ए बी, mark a point C between A and B. How many points can you mark between A and B? और जो पोस्ट टीचिंग रिफ्लेक्शन है वो आपको सुपरवाइज़र प्रोवाइड करेंगे. सो ये सुपरवाइज़र रिमार्क्स एंड सुपरवाइज़र सिग्नेचर ये सब सुपरवाइज़र के अंदर में आएगा. सो अभी हम नेक्स्ट पेज में जाते हैं. सो लेसन प्लान नंबर 2. सो टॉपिक है लाइंस और सेम ड्यूरेशन 40 मिनट्स. कंटेंट मैपिंग है लाइंस. अंडर लाइंस वी हैव concurrent lines and non-concurrent lines. So next पेज में जाते हैं आप. तो नेक्स्ट पेज में आप देखोगे objectives of the lesson. Number 1, pupils will acquire the knowledge about lines. Number 2, pupils will develop understanding on concurrent lines and non-concurrent lines. Number 3, pupils will develop the skill to identify concurrent lines and non-concurrent lines in their daily life surrounding. Under approach है constructivist, method है inductive deductive method, discussion cum lecture method, learning resources whiteboard and flashcard. So next page में जाते हैं. So next page में है 7 minutes time. Steps engage. Teacher engage the pupils by asking them to identify the figures shown to them. ये एक्चुअली थोड़ा मिस्टेक हो गया है. सो ये वाला पार्ट जो है अंडर टीचर्स एक्टिविटी आना चाहिए. सो yes, it is called a point and we have learnt in our previous class about points. What about this? Teachers show another flashcard. Well, it is a line as we can see that it extends to both the directions. Teacher then asks how many lines can be drawn in a given period. Now tell me class, the lines passing through the same point is called, and the point where the line passes is called. So under pupils activity, pupils response a dot or a point. Pupils reply unanimously yes. Lines or line segments. Many or infinite number of lines. No response. TLM is flashcards. Now let's move on to the next page again. So it is the continuation of the previous step, engage. So under teachers activity, well, class, today we will learn about concurrent lines and non-concurrent lines. Teacher writes the topic of day's lesson on the board. So TLM is flashcards. So the next step we have explore of 10 minutes. Under teachers activity, teacher then divides the pupils into 3 groups and provide a flashcards to each group. Pupils identify the pictures under pupils activity. Group 1, a picture of spider webs. Group 2, pictures of spokes of a wheel. Group 3, pictures where 4 roads meet. Teacher asks each group to identify the pictures given to them and instructs them to mark the center point in the picture. Teacher facilitates and monitor group activities. Now let's move on to the next step, that is explain. So under teachers activity, teacher asks one member from each group to come near the whiteboard with the pictures. Teacher asks each pupil to raise their flashcards. Teacher then starts explaining that in all the three pictures they can see that there is one common point, and these points are called the point of concurrence, while the lines are called concurrent lines. Under pupils activity, three pupils come forward with pictures in their hand, and pupils listen attentively. So TLM is flashcards. Now let's move on to the next page. So in the next step we have elaborate for 8 minutes. So under teachers activity, teacher made a figure on the board, and with the active participation of the pupils identifies these lines which are concurrent and those lines which are concurrent. Under pupils activity, pupils actively participate. Now in the next step we have evaluate of 5 minutes. So under teachers activity, teachers ask the following questions to evaluate. A. What are concurrent lines? B. The point where the line passes is called. C. If lines do not pass through the same point, then those lines are known as. So, pupils respond accordingly. Now, let's move on to the next page. So, in the next page, as you can see, homework assignment. Under homework assignment, teacher gives the following question as home assignment. Question is, from the following figure, identify the concurrent lines and its point of concurrence. सो दोस्तों ये लेसन 2 था, लेसन प्लान नंबर 2। तो अगर आपको पसंद आया है तो आप लाइक शेयर एंड प्लीज़ कमेंट बिलो। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि मैं लेसन प्लान नंबर 3 बनाऊं, उसका वीडियो बनाऊं, तो आप ज़रूर कमेंट कीजिएगा। और ये जो लेसन प्लान जो है, जो टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं उनके लिए बहुत ही हेल्पफुल रहेगा, तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कीजिए। जो टीचिंग ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं उनके लिए बहुत ही लाभदायक होगा। सो आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कीजिएगा। सो थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग।